Welcome to your weekly Pick a Card Tarot reading, where you pick a card and I'll tell you what messages the universe has for you this week. If you're new to the channel, my name's Jojo. I am a psychic, spiritual coach, and tarot reader, and I help people transform their lives one card at a time. If that seems interesting to you, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and click the bell icon so that you never miss an upload. Now let's begin. Here are our 4 piles that we will read from. And here are your choices. And please, as you make a choice, leave a comment so that I know what you're interested in terms of your own life and the tarot. Our first choice is the 3 of Swords. This is a card about emotional pain and also the conflict sometimes we have of our thoughts versus emotions. Very interesting. The King of Swords is a card about the mastery of communication, influence, and conflict. A great choice if you are currently dealing with some conflict in your life. We have the 10 of Swords, another card revolving around conflict. In this case, more about the end of a conflict, perhaps a victory or defeat on your part. And another great choice if you are struggling with these things in your life. And for our final choice, we have the 2 of Swords. The 2 of Swords is about the balance of communication, also influence, and sometimes knowledge, and more about making choices, especially when there is a conflict involved. This can also border on things such as resolving conflicts between others, and not necessarily between yourself and another person, but between 2 or more people in your life. So I'll give you a moment. Please, again, leave a comment with your choice, and certainly let me know what resonates with you. 3 of Swords is a symbol of some sadness, heartache, or emotional pain in your life. It could be perhaps you're getting through a breakup or have had a conflict with a friend or family member going on in your life, and has certainly brought to you some sadness, some mourning. This could also even be the loss of grief of someone you care about passing away. Often when we are wrapped up in these feelings of sadness and pain, we have a lot of sort of racing thoughts and drive from our ego to try to solve the problem, because we're in pain and the mind always sort of kicks in and tries to fix a problem. And in many cases, these sorts of issues in our life don't always have a direct resolution. They're not always things that the mind can fix. And so you might find yourself ruminating a lot on the things, whatever this is going on in your life, that is causing you this sorrow and this sadness. So let's see if we can find some answers to that as we go forward. The 7 of Coins. The 7 of Coins, or Pentacles, tells us that your healing in this, your resolution, if you will, is happening. That we see that the seeds of healing, of moving past this, have been planted, that they are growing, and it is a matter of time and patience till the fruits of healing, the fruits of this transformation in our life become apparent and are ready to harvest, if you will. So take comfort in knowing that your resolution to this is on its way, that you have, whether you realized it or not, already done many of the things that you need to do to help you get through this. And it's just a matter of time for them to show up in your experience. In other words, if you were at a restaurant, your order has been placed. The cooks are diligently working to make your sandwich or your steak or your whatever you ordered, and it will be on its way to you very soon. Very soon, it will arrive at your table. I also sense that maybe you are feeling, beyond just the actual pain or grief that you're going through, that you are feeling generally overwhelmed with the other parts of your life that aren't directly related to this. And so as you're going through this, it's clear to me that you're also starting to feel that, well, I'm dealing with this suffering, this problem, and there's the worry that you won't be able to keep the other parts of your track on life. The other parts of your life on track. That is always a big part of emotional struggle in our lives and all of the rumination and overthinking that it can often trigger. Again, the universe here wants to assure you that you are capable and more capable than you probably feel at this moment. That your whole life will not fall apart, no matter how bad things may feel or seem to you at this moment. And so take faith in that, and let's see if we can find some advice on how to help you move forward with this. I sense that there may be some people and or perhaps resources in your life that you could avail yourself of, some people you could reach out to, for other folks in your life that maybe you've not been in as close contact with recently, but that may be able to give you some perspective and some support in this struggle. So let's move on and see what else we have as far as a resolution. So our final card here, the Seven of Swords, tells us that you certainly will make your way out of this. Whatever this conflict, pain, and suffering is, that you will prevail. And at first, the resolution of this might feel as if you got away with something a little bit. Like maybe the resolution or the epiphany at first isn't really real. In other words, you'll have a breakthrough in this. Things will seem to resolve, but you won't really believe it at first. You may have a hard time feeling like it is resolved. And also, in the process of this resolution, there are some things that you will have to leave behind. You will have to accept that there is some actual loss to this. And through that acceptance, you will find peace with it. The King of Swords is a wonderful choice for you this week if you are dealing with your position in life as a leader, as a mentor, as someone with influence over friends, family, coworkers, and perhaps maybe you are struggling or having questions about that ability to do so. It may also be that you are stepping into a greater role of leadership and influence in your life. and perhaps you have some apprehension about it. But let's see what messages the universe has for you regarding this matter in your life. So we also see the King of Cups here. In order to be a better leader, to have more influence of others, you will need to lean into your emotional self and be more aware of how you react emotionally to the people around you. And to temper those emotions, perhaps you are someone who has a strong will and can be stubborn at times, or is even prone to being frustrated or angry with other people in your life. And clearly that can lead to conflicts. In order to be the leader, to be that great mentor that you are meant to be, you will need to really be aware of your emotional self and the things that trigger you, and be able to observe those things and not react to them in the immediate present when they arise. And that is key to leadership. To become more comfortable with yourself, to get your handle on these emotions, you may need to engage in some new practices in your life. A new pursuit, and one that is aligned with your highest purpose, with your divine self, with your passions. Some new practice in your life, one that probably involves some self-care and maintenance, is going to be critical for you to establish to help you further this. And I would say it's something that you can pick up pretty quickly. It's not going to be something that requires endless amounts of study or preparation or resources to begin doing. As you lean into this new practice, you will start to feel a profound sense of transformation. Temperance is transformation, of inner alchemy, as one may say. The idea that we take something, in this case, perhaps your tendency to frustration or anger, and transform that emotion, what we might generally consider a negative or problematic emotion, into something that is productive and better aligned with the person that you are trying to become, the person you are meant to be, your higher self. Through this, you will find a greater sense of peace and well-being. And as that grows within yourself, that will make its way outward from you and into the lives of those around you. And this will be part of how you become this better leader or mentor. And you will find easier and more peaceful resolutions to any conflicts that you are dealing with in your life at the moment. The final result of all of this will be a great sense of joy in your life, and the ability to share this with others. Again, as we were saying with temperance, this transformation will spill out into the world around you. And ultimately, as we know, the world will begin to reflect the new and happier you, the more peaceful and accomplished and confident you. And you will begin to also sort of feel a sense of return to childhood with this. You may really feel refreshed and renewed, and begin to look at the world around you with a greater sense of that sort of wonder that we all have as children and that we tend to lose as we head into adulthood. And now we have the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is the totality of a conflict in our life. It may be a conflict with another. It might be an internal conflict, two parts of yourself that are at odds with each other. But we see a resolution to this happening. And it isn't always the most pleasant thing when these conflicts end, even if the outcome is in your favor. You may feel some regret. There may be some betrayal involved with this, especially if this conflict is with another. And so let's try to gain some insight into what that really is. We have the Ace of Swords, new and fresh ideas coming to you, inspired ideas. And so, even though the end of this conflict may be painful or difficult for you to deal with, the universe is telling you that new inspiration and new thoughts and clarity on this will come to you or are on their way to you fairly soon here. And the sort of the spark of this may emerge and become apparent to you as we go through this week. At first, this new inspiration, these new ideas about this, may cause you to sort of go back into the conflict. Even though that the conflict has already ended, you will have some doubts about its resolution. You will doubt this new information and have a hard time accepting it, even though this is the truth of the matter. And this is the thing that you need to stay right with and follow as you go forward. But you will have a few more sleepless nights about it. What we can do about that is to take time for more personal reflection and self-care, and take a step back from as much of the day-to-day hustle and bustle as you can, and take a step back from the conflict itself or things that may have been related to it that still persist in your life. When you have these doubts and you are questioning this new information that is really the truth of the matter, reflect on what emotions are arising in response to this information, and really reflect on where those emotions are coming from. Are they purely a reaction to the current moment and the new information? What are some past experiences that you've had in your life that triggered these similar feelings, and how are they related? Because you might be carrying some ideas or beliefs from a past experience into this present one. And the past experience may not have anything to do with what you're actually dealing with right now. So really reflect on those ideas and questions. As you do so, and as you work through that, you will find the final resolution to this. The new information will sort of take hold in your mind and feel, it will truly become your truth. It will feel true to you if you do this work. And you will find yourself rising above the emotional pain and frustration and sadness that you're experiencing regarding this whole situation. And this will allow you to move forward again, to carry the knowledge that you need, or that you've learned from this, I should say, forward, and on to your next adventure, the next step in your journey. So it will be a very up and down week with whatever this problem is, but do not blind yourself to this new knowledge, this new information, and really sit with that and digest it. It will bring you to the greater clarity of this situation and the ending of this conflict in your life. Here we have the Two of Swords for your final choice. The Two of Swords, like all swords, does denote conflict. And in this case, to me, it's much more about conflicting facts or information in your life. Some information that doesn't seem to add up in finding some truth in your life. This, to me, feels more like an internal conflict and less about conflict with others or even the resolution of conflict between even other people outside of yourself. If you are someone who is in a leadership position, like in King of Swords, well, you might be juggling other people's conflicts and trying to resolve them. But to me, this choice feels more like internal conflict. There's information in your life that's not adding up. It is causing some emotional response, some emotional turmoil in your life, and leading to you to feel like maybe, the sense of blindness here, this sense of, I really can't see the forest for the trees. I don't really know what is what. Always a difficult place for any of us to be in. And with this card, also a reminder that, again, we have to look inward and trust intuition. The symbolism of the moon and the fairly calm water behind this woman is a pointer to the inner self, the reflective self, and also the divine feminine. The answers are with you. The Eight of Swords shows that we have a wealth of information, and the eight is always eights in tarot are always a card of harmony. So what we see here is you have the facts and information that you need to resolve this. And this feeling of confliction is more of the emotional self. And that as we progress into the week, we can expect, while we may still feel blind, that as we look inward and deal more with the emotional reactions to this information that we are trying to process and trying to resolve, that the heightened emotions of this will begin to subside and fade as we see the receding water here, almost as if there had been a flood here at one point, and things are drying up. And we're still coming out of it and feeling foggy. We still have this sort of blindness to things, but the frustration that comes with that is going to begin to subside. Again, as we look more inward and get more in touch with our intuition and our connection to the universe. Some of that will come to us possibly through interactions with a younger person in our life. It might even be someone just less experienced with the things that you're dealing with, whatever this conflict is. But know that this new idea, this new thing, this sort of renewed sense is going to lead you out of this. And so this is a reminder to try to look at this with fresh eyes and perhaps even step back and try to just put this problem on the shelf for a bit. Take some time to renew ourselves. Take some time to renew our bodies, especially and engage in some self-care, some exercise, if you will, if that's your thing. Things that really help you to feel more invigorated. Also, a suggestion to spend more time in nature. The pentacles are the suit of earth, and so this is a call to you to find new grounding in your life. And in some cases, this might involve, say, spending time with younger people in your life, if that's something that you're aligned with. So especially if you're a parent, spend some more time with your kids. It might give you a new perspective on all of this that's going on. Through that, you will not just feel grounded, but you will really have a profound sense of your oneness with the universe, with the conflicted things going on. Those are still parts of you. And a sense of unity will emerge through this care, through this grounding practice. Know that all of these struggles and things that you're having difficulty with are merely teachers. They are merely put there not to cause your suffering directly, but to teach you that you are simply a piece of the universe having a unique experience. And when we get back to that sense and knowing, and more importantly, feeling that way, it has the capacity to resolve all of our problems, to bring us healing and greater abundance. And as you come out the other side of that renewed sense of oneness, you'll feel like a queen. You will find yourself in a new position of strength, or reminded of the strength and mastery that you've had. And you will find yourself ready to begin new projects again. So this goes back to the beginning and provides us with a lot of clarity about what this conflict is, that it is probably a conflict centered around ultimately some part of your job or career or other important endeavor in your life. The things that really underlie your purpose and passion in the world. And so coming out of this, not only will you have this wonderful sense of peace and oneness, but that oneness and being in flow with the universe will give you the power and the spark of moving forward with the projects and things that you're trying to do in life. And so that concludes your weekly Pick a Card tarot reading. Please leave a comment and let me know if any of this resonated with you. And if you'd like to explore any of these concepts further in your own life, I have a number of ways that you can do that through individualized readings and offerings. And you can find out about all of those just by reading through and following the links in my comments. And so thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful week.